Can I invite you to look up for a moment and imagine that above us hangs a mirror, a smart, intelligent mirror, one that reflects all our faces, our smiles, our different hair. It also captures our opinions and perspectives. Such a smart and intelligent mirror would only be limited by one thing: the people in the room. If someone was on their way, stood just outside the door, maybe they didn't even see the invite, their reflection, their voice would not be reflected in this mirror. This mirror is artificial intelligence. And like this mirror, AI relies on the data presented to it. AI is not a magician. The unseen face, the unheard voice is not reflected, is not part of the image in the AI mirror. I speak to you today as someone who sits at the intersection of two perspectives. Maybe three. As an enterprise architect, I help design the systems that underpin technology. As a development economist, I understand the structures that shape economies and create opportunities. From both these perspectives, I believe that AI sits on the threshold of becoming the system that defines our age, either to entrench inequality or to equip us for global equity. And yes, I say the third perspective, as an African diaspora baby who still remembers cousin Tendai she left in a village that's often left off the map. AI can bring utility for all of us. So sometime last year, I went out for an evening walk. And whilst I was doing that, I decided to be a bit adventurous and climb a tree. Unfortunately, the way down was not as easy. I slipped, landed on uneven ground, twisted my ankle, felt something snap. Ouch. As I wobbled back home, I took a pause and decided to search for the images of broken ankles. I made two discoveries that evening. One, that broken ankles don't all look the same in different skin colors. And the second, that there were not a lot of images of broken ankles close to my skin color. That moment became my digital awakening. I began to wonder, what else was the intelligence missing? Who else was it missing? As I did my research, I discovered three important inclusion gaps: the African gap, the representation gap, and the language gap. 90% of the data used to train AI systems is in English, when only 18% of the world speaks English. This was a research that was done by Martina Tenes in 2023. 1% of the data used in large language models for the global AI models is African language data, just 1%. This startling remark was made by the president of Global Health of the Gates Foundation at the most recent AI Action Summit. The World Economic Forum identified that of all AI professionals globally, only 20% are women. And the Royal Society in the UK also made a discovery. 1.7% of AI professionals are Black people. These gaps matter. This lack of diversity of thought matters because AI potentially, or does so already, shape the decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis. Who gets hired from the CV filtering algorithms? Who gets attended to in a medical setting from the triage tools? How much the bank is willing to lend you for your business adventure from the credit scoring algorithms? And when you're going through your social media, what videos are streamed on your timeline from the content algorithms? To put this another way, the University of Washington in 2024 decided to understand better the biases in the CV filtering algorithms. They found that for wide-sounding names, they had an 85% chance of being moved on to the next stage. For the black-sounding names, a 9% chance. Dr. Joy of the MIT Media Research Lab also did her analysis on the bias on facial recognition systems. And she found that for lighter-skinned men, the error rates were around 0.08%. But for darker-skinned women, the error rate was 34.7%. Now, you might be thinking, this is terrible, but it mostly affects other people, right? Wrong. You see, AI, once we start to bake the bias in, our missing images in the mirror turn up everywhere. If a CV filtering algorithm is having a bias towards less qualified individuals, this could have an impact on your child or your partner. If an AI system is having a bias on Black patients, it couldn't recognize you maybe as you get older, or are pregnant, or underrepresented in some other way. An algorithm that has a problem with facial recognition might struggle with your aging parents, with you when you're sicker, or have a disability. When we build with exclusion, we scale exclusion. But when we build with equity, we promote inclusion and opportunity. I don't say all these things so that we all become scared of AI and cancel AI. No, because AI can do so much, especially for the diversity agenda, if we equip it with all the data that it requires. Take, for instance, in Rwanda, in a city called Kirehe, at the community hospital, they are using an app that detects infection in a surgical site on post-C-section mothers within the first 10 days. It doesn't even need to be online. So you take a photo of the surgical site, and the AI models can tell you whether there's an infection. Now, I know everyone in this room will know a pregnant mother, someone who's had a C-section. This could yield utility for all of us, home-based care, especially in low-resource settings. This app was developed by multidisciplinary teams from Harvard, the MIT, and other institutions. Bias wasn't an afterthought. They went for inclusion, inclusive by design. And what great opportunity it can provide, and similar solutions can provide. So what do we need to do? How can we improve the reflection in the mirror? Digital exclusion means data exclusion. In Africa, only 40% have access to the internet. In the Caribbean, you look at Haiti, it can be as low as 11%. The idea is to move away from the notion of digital exclusion to digital hunger, data poverty, because then it increases our interest. What can we do to improve digital hunger? What can we do to improve data poverty? Let's rebuild trust. There are communities that have been exposed to exploitation, exclusion, surveillance because of what is known about them, their data. And if we were to invite members of that community into the room right now, they would be hesitant to have their reflection in the mirror above us. We must create an interest on global standards and global policies around how data can be protected, valued, and respected. Any breaches, whether it's at government level, must be addressed. Almost in the same way we treat money laundering and other global issues. Data must be viewed as an economic asset. Companies, global companies, make billions from our data. And yet, the people that generate the data, the people whose data it belongs to, do not really have a share in this economic asset. We should also encourage companies to disclose the inclusive characteristics of their data. I mean, if they can tell us on a packet that there's 40% fat and 5% carbohydrates, they should be able to tell us the inclusive characteristics of their data. Because then when we know as consumers, we can demand more. When we consider representation, we should understand that not having diversity of thought in AI is a skills gap. The same way we identify skills gap in healthcare sectors or hospitality and service sectors, and we see governments having an urgent drive to address those gaps. We must do the same. I'm sure there are enough women and Black people that can participate and be at the creation table of AI models and the AI ecosystem. Governments must do enough to improve this. When we hold up a mirror that includes all of us, for young cousin Tendai in the village, it means that in the future, they can get better treatment, better access to opportunities, and even be able to predict diseases in their village. And for all of us as humanity, it means that we can better prepare for our future and everything it brings. So let's build a mirror that includes all of us. Thank you.